Good morning, everyone. It's Luna Bell. Y'all know me. I went to Ask Spirit where are we going today, and I heard a number, 16, Psalm 16. So I grabbed my Bible, and y'all, by the way, it's a blue color. The color blue is important. I was 16 on my timer. I went to go to Psalm 16, but I went too far, and I went to Job 16. Now this is pertinent. There are no coincidences here. So in 16, Job's fussing and complaining, 33 on my timer, to his friends or whatnot. He's fussing and all. And he mentions, the Creator being the witness and whatnot. Well, then I go over and I read Psalm 16. And y'all, the next thing I do is I look up the meaning of number 16. So 1616 is our number today. And y'all, I already had that confirmed. I couldn't believe it. Anyhow, I looked it up, and it's divine support, positive thoughts, release worries, and then I was looking up the number 1616, 111 on my timer, balance, new beginnings. And then I added up the number 16, which goes to 7. And what it took me to, 122, and now, y'all, that number 7 is a divine number, but it's also a mystic's number. You may be alive past 7. But I was also taken to the chariot at this point. Now, what I was drawn to on the chariot card, other than it being 144 on my timer, other than it being the number 7 in the tarot, well, one part of that aspect of the chariot is the two sides of that. One part of that is the shadow side. The shadow side of the chariot can be our ego. Y'all, if y'all like me, we're all like, where's Spirit going? But let's listen. So we got to be mindful. We know we're having a heart way. And y'all probably like me go, I hear judgment. Let's listen. Toot toot. So we have to watch our own ego. And then now on plate 16, I was also led to the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And y'all, when I opened the book, and y'all, you could tell I've hardly cracked this book. It's pretty brand new, 244. But I was drawn to this page. This is where it opened to. And it's plate 16. And it tells about the story of when someone has passed and their heart is being weighed against the feather of Ma'at, against truth, in the hall of the two truths. Sounds like the two sides of that chariot card, doesn't it? That duality, the different perspectives. In the hall of two truths, a crucial judgment where the God Thoth or Thoth records the verdict, the innocent and working of Orisis and eternal life in the field of reeds are condemned to oblivion by Amut. The heart is heavy with sin. So you understand that word judgment, 344 on my timer. Now I heard the word judgment. The next thing I heard, because I was wondering about the chariot card, where are we going with this? What I heard after that was the number 11 in the tarot card, in the tarot deck. And, hold on, before I get to that, that is justice and balance. Well, justice, the justice card, but it is also balance, new beginnings, a new way of being, a new state of being, 422 on my timer. Now, I was also drawn to another book, y'all. That's 4 books, 431 on my timer. This one is Mary Magdalene. And I was drawn, and they're telling me to tell you the page number, 134 and 135. And we are taken to the 7th power, and that is the power we all probably understand and know most intimately. Y'all, I'm directly quoting this from this book. I'm reading it. This is not a paid advertisement. This is for entertainment purposes only. The seventh power in the Gospel of Mary is the wisdom of the wrathful person, or the compulsion of rage. But here she goes over here, 5:15. Anger can devour us from the inside out. Anger can divide. It is so compelling. It can derail and distract. It can derail and distract many of us for most of our lives. That balance. And this is how I think we can best understand the destructive side of anger. It is simply when we get overcome by it, we can live in anger, or we can act on our anger in ways that we regret then for the rest of our lives. As with all powers, it isn't the power itself that is harmful. It is the presence of the power and the absence of the soul. 616 on my timer. It's forgetting entirely that we are not just the ego that is subject to the power. So even as we are more enraged than we have ever been, even if we have every right to be, and it's healthy and normal for us to be angry, if we forget that there's this equality, significant part of us that is calm, still water beneath it all, then we will inflict our rage onto someone else. And whether that person is undeserving of that rage in our eyes or deserving of it, all it does is bind us and perpetuate a cycle. This seventh power is about responsibility we need to take for the rage that can compel us to treat ourselves and others in ways we can hardly believe we are capable of. There is a light side and a shadow side to all of us and our actions. I think we need to be aware of the distractions people use with anger. I think when I said judgment, I kept hearing judgment, and then I got the number 11, heard that 11, and when I went and looked in my book, and let's see, let's go to, here it is, number 11, 818, justice. The alternative name is adjustment. In some decks, numbered 8 and swapped, and it can be swapped with strength as well. That's what it's saying. Libra, the scales, the balancing. The chakra is the earth star, the spiritual grounding. I think it's a call for all of us to ground ourselves, to ground our anger, and not let our anger or our hurt feelings be manipulated by others, by ourselves or by others. It's important that we're aware of when others are trying to manipulate our anger and our pain. Many blessings to you. Blessed be.